So I'm really excited about the topic for this month, Awaken. Awaken. I went to the book of Ephesians 5. I'm only going to look at two verses, 14 and 15. Ephesians 14 and 15. And as always, we're looking at Paul. Paul's writing these letters to the churches, to people. Last time we talked about Paul, he was writing about drama, about discontent, about arguments. That's what he was writing to them about. These were adults. These were Christian people. But now he's writing to them in a different sense. And he basically tells them, the very first verse, he says, "Awaken, you who sleep." Now there's something that I need you to understand. He was not writing this to them because they were physically asleep, like they're lying in bed asleep. He was talking to them about their daily lives, their daily activities. You know, the mundane life. Every single day I do this. Every single day I watch this. Every single day I associate with those friends. Every single day, just regular old life. Day in, day out, same old, same old. Wow. You know how much time and how much life is wasted? And I thought it was very interesting because you kind of mentioned that. It was mentioned in the songs. He's talking about dry bones awaken. Is it talking about actual physical dry bones? No, it's talking about a spiritual awakening. So he's talking to the church and he's telling them, "Awaken, you who sleep." He says, "Arise from the dead." Now here's what I need you to understand about arise. Because when you arise, it is a point of action. Something has to happen. Yeah. Something has to become. See, get up. Arise. Get up out of the bed. There is an action that has to take place. Something has to become part of your life, your expectation. And you know, I always find it interesting that we get excited. We get excited for Winterfest. We get excited for camp. We get excited for different events and different functions, right? Like we go showing up ready to get animated and to be ready, to be filled, right? And we get there, and that's exactly what happens. Everything is flipped on, and all of a sudden it's like nothing can come against us, and now we'll never again. And we say all these things. Man, I've got so many incredible pictures. Love it. Love it. And then we come back. Something starts to happen after that first week and a half, second week. What happens? And go back to sleep. We go back to our mundane life, back at school, same old friends, same old lunch that I always like, the same old TV shows. I watch Netflix. We talk about this, we talk about that. We go back to sleep. He was writing to a church. Wake up, you who sleep, arise from the dead. Now there's something very important that he says right after that. Because when you arise, when you become the action that takes place, when you move into doing, he says, and Christ will give you light. Now there's something about getting hit by the daily light when you walk outside. When you get the first whiff of the breeze, and when you get the first rays of sunlight that start coming through. And you know what? When we're talking about Christ, when Christ's light, when it shines, guess what? It starts to expose some things in our lives. And I'll be honest, I've been there. I've been there. You know, it exposes things like how much time you've wasted. Ooh. And that was for me. That was for me. Because you know, we all have the same amount of time in a day. We all do. But isn't it interesting that some people make more of their time? They create so much more. They do so much more with it. Isn't that interesting? But yet we all have the same amount of time. When the light shines, the question is, what will expose? When Christ shines, what will it expose of your life? What have you wasted? Many bad choices will be exposed. Many bad relationships, bad friendships, the things that we do in secret. Nobody else knows. Nobody else saw me drink that. Nobody saw me smoke that. Nobody, I mean, come on. Really? Not to be critical, not to be judgmental. And Christ will give you light. He says, see then that you walk circumspectly. That's an interesting word. Not as fools, but as wise. Circumspectly means weary, aware, unwilling to take risks. See, because here's a reality about the bed that we sleep in. See, that bed that we sleep in, those are our habits. Those are the friends that we surround ourselves with. Those are the things that are in our life that we become comfortable with. That we accept. I love the quote that you talked about sin. That sin will take you further than you really wanted to go. It'll cost you more than what you wanted to pay. And it will wrap you up more than you realize. Oh my goodness. That's how the enemy works. See, he wants to make it appealing to you. He wants to make it look like it's all fun. Hey, it's just a crew hanging out, drinking a few. But guess what? That alcoholic, where do you think he got his start at? When do you think he became addicted? When do you think he decided to keep on smoking? That bed that we lie in, those are the regular habits. He says, wake up, arise, get up out. But he says, be careful how you leave that bed. Be careful how you move around. He talks about fools. I want to break down fools, and I want to break down what wise means. See, we're inundated. There's so much information out there. There's knowledge. Oh man, we can have it. Touch of a button, we can figure it out. We can find it. It's there. And we have knowledge here. We're tested on it. Certain things we want to learn, we need to learn. We have to do. There's knowledge. Wisdom, however, wisdom is applying the knowledge. Why is that so critical? Well, here's the thing. We learn principles, Bible principles on how to live life. How to have relationships. How to encourage one another. How to be successful. How to get ahead. How to cultivate our talents, our gifts. There's principles in place. A wise person applies principles. Save the drama for your llama. Are we applying what we learn? Are we applying the principle of submitting? That was huge. Jesus talked about that. Huge. But are we willing to apply it? Are we willing to be wise? Or are we, what he said, are we fools? Well, what do you mean? I want you to imagine this. A doctor, educated, he's a doctor. He knows good and well the harm that smoking brings. But yet, he's out in the parking lot smoking a cigarette. Now, is that a wise person? Or is he a fool? Awaken, arise, let him shine on you. And be careful how you exit those things